Why hello, welcome back to my channel, The Ink Reader, and today I am first of all showing you my pin for today. Kidding. And then, well, no, I'm gonna do that for real. But the real reason why I'm here today is because I want to share with you what I watched in summer 2020. These are divided in categories as always, so please enjoy. But first of all, please enjoy my pin. Also my t-shirt. My t-shirt is also worth, well, I should have ironed that, but whatever. And also I should put this on the right way. But I didn't want to ruin the t-shirt, so I actually didn't pull it all through. So I didn't like punch a hole in the t-shirt. Some t-shirts are easier to put a pin on, some t-shirts are a bit more tricky. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into this. So, the first thing I've actually completed, so I'm including all the things I've watched the whole season of, for example, as far as TV shows are concerning. So the first thing I've completed was The Mandalorian on Disney Plus, and I loved The Mandalorian so much. I think if you're a fan of the movies, then it's really kind of impossible for you to dislike this. Now, I am a fan of the movies, but I think The Mandalorian can kind of gets elements from the movies which we all love, or at least if you're a fan of, you love, and then makes it a unique things with Western elements, which again, I loved Western things. I really enjoyed Western movies in the past. Still to these days, I would watch Western movie. I enjoy in general, like graphic novels, TV shows sometimes. So although it's not my favorite thing, it's not, oh, Western is my favorite genre. It's just a genre that now and then I still do enjoy. And combined Western elements with, sci-fi, Star Wars elements, it was just perfect. There was some really cute moments in there, and then some awesome action, and it was just really highly entertaining. It was just really well done with a hint of humor in it, and I gave it 5 stars. I mean, I'm here for the second season. Like, I think it's a masterpiece, and again, I don't want to compare it to the movies, but I think even if the movies are now theoretically done, I'm still not suffering because I've got The Mandalorian, if it makes sense. So it is a valid hair to that, although it's really different. The Mandalorian just worked perfectly for me, and so 5 stars hands down. Then I proceeded to watch the third season of Castlevania. This is on Netflix, and this is based, that I know of, on video game. Basically, I played the video game, loved the video game. I started the second one and then got PS4, so I never completed it. But anyway, I saw the Netflix TV show. I gave it a try. The first 2 seasons are really short. Combined, you can watch season 1 and 2 basic as a movie, and then season 3 it's a bit more lengthy, so you got 10 episodes. The video games and the TV show have same characters to a certain degree, but they develop in a really different way. So even if you have played the video game as I did, the TV show is completely new experience. It just takes the idea and then makes it something completely new, with some of the characters that you grew to love while playing the video game. And the premise is that you got, in the first season, Dracula, and at one point, without any spoilers, Dracula becomes really mad with humanity, and then there are a bunch of characters that try to prevent Dracula, basically to raise hell on earth. And the drawings, the way, not only the plot, the characters, all of them, how interesting they are and well made, and how much you can explore each character, and singularly together also, but also singularly, they're unique and interesting on their own. And I think the third season is more slow than the second two, I would say. So it's a lot of build up, if you want, to an awesome 2 final episodes. Loved it. There is some scenes in the third seasons where they got these characters. One of the characters, he embarks on this journey and he's looking for revenge, but also a lot of feelings he have to deal with, and the conversation he has, while all of those characters are great characters, some of them are plainly bad characters, and yet you root for them. So I think it's just perfect. It's just something that I really click with, from the art style, from the way it's done in general, how the plot is developed, and the characters, all of them loved it. 5 stars. I couldn't recommend this enough, especially if you like anime anyway. But it's really violent, so be mindful that there is a lot of violence. Then I rewatched, which I never do, I rewatched season 1 of Umbrella Academy in preparation to the second season, which I binged watched as well. So I gave both 5 stars. The Umbrella Academy, together with The Boys, on Amazon. So the Umbrella Academy is on Netflix, The Boys is on Amazon. Probably the TV shows, together with The Mandalorian, are probably my top TV shows. My current top 3 of ongoing series, but I've not watched a few of my old favorite series as of now, so I need to catch up with those. So I mean, it's a really rough list, but this is to say, I love to pieces the Umbrella Academy. I think the second season, I was a bit worried as it kind of recycled a bit of the idea from the first season, but the way they made it, perfect. It's even better than the first season. 100%. It was so good. I cannot spoil anything, but it was so good to see in the end how they didn't repeat the mistakes that they've done in the past, and it was awesome. The ending, everything. I laughed. There was some bits and where I laughed. I don't know if you watched that, but if you have, I'm starting like basically a plant collection, and I called one of my plants Oga for Oga, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. But one of my plants now is called Oga, and if you watch the second season, you know why. Best bit ever. Loved everything. I'm so grateful that we do get some series that, you know, when you have a long day and you just want to chill, you got such a good material to watch. It's just the best. And then the last TV show that I actually completed, it was The Fall, season 3. This is now on Netflix. This is the last season. It was supposed to be the last season. I think it still is at the moment. And this is the story of a serial killer and the detective in Ireland that is trying to capture him. And it's really atmospheric. The third and final season, again, I didn't know what to expect, and I think we are kept in a lot of suspense, and then there is the end, and it's just like, fucking hell. Sorry, there were children, but I could not describe in any other way the ending and the last episode, definitely. And I think it's, again, masterfully crafted. You kind of get a different piece throughout, and then, or maybe it's slow moving, yet interesting, and you can just feel creeped out, and you don't know why, because nothing's really happening for you to justify being creeped out. And then there's a bang, and it's just, I don't know, like, put your seatbelt on if you watch these. But again, it's an awesome introspection, mind of a killer. The person I never rooted for the bad guy, although he's absolutely handsome, because again, it's Jamie Dornan. I was just like, put this guy in a cell, throw the key away, just leave. This guy is really dangerous. I think it was fascinating to see how things moved and the relationships. And these men, I think, I don't know, I didn't want to judge him as an actor before. I was just kind of neutral, and now it's like, you made me sleep with my lights on at night, so I guess you did a good job. One of those where you watch it not for the enjoyment of it, because you honestly, it's really heavy thing to watch. So I would say take your time, watch it if you're ready for it. It's not one thing that you watch just to have a fun time, good time, as you would the Umbrella Academy, for example. And I gave it 4 stars. Reality TV shows. So the only one I actually watch are Koreans one, usually, and which happened this season as well. Some season I don't watch any, some season I find something interesting that I want to watch, and I do. And this summer I had one of my favorite ever, and it was called Road to Kingdom. And this is basically a reality TV show. You got a few Korean K-pop groups, and they're battling with each other to decide who's gonna reach the kingdom. Basically, in K-pop, they got these weekly shows where they look at the charts, music charts, and people can win prizes if they are at the top of the list. I'm not an expert, so I'm just giving you a rough idea. So basically all these groups were battled in Road to Kingdom, neither had any win on these weekly shows. And so they come together. Some are a bit more famous, some are rookie groups, and the battles are dance battles. So it's all about choreography, like the scenography, how you put it on, and of course the group. I was also biased because I really enjoyed all the groups, but there was one of my favorite groups ever, even before Road to Kingdom, and Road to Kingdom just told me that I am right, just stunning these groups so much. The main reason why I enjoy K-pop to a certain degree is that because of the choreography. I love dancing since I was a kid, so the choreography and the fact that these guys or girls dance is what attracted me in the first place to K-pop. I also enjoyed some of the music, but to be fair, I listen to all kinds of musics, and K-pop is just a genre that I listen to, but I'm not only K-pop, if it makes sense. But I really enjoy watching their YouTube videos because of the choreography, not to mention that they are, aesthetically speaking, some perfect human beings, which never hurts. But my group, they were stunning so much, even before the Kingdom won the competition. So yes, but I mean, they won because they were the best. But I have to say that all the competition were amazing, all the groups were amazing. I'm gonna, definitely check all the groups on from now on. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, 5 stars. I loved it. So these guys have got so much talent, it is unbelievable. Then I watched a really old one, not really old, but I think it's like at least 1 year old, and it's YG Treasure Box on YouTube. I found this. The reason why I watched all of this is because there was a rookie group coming out, so I watched their video. I basically decided to find out how this group was formed, and I gave these 3 stars. Not because of the boys, I think all of them are amazing. The reason why I gave 3 stars to these is because of the format. So basically you got 10 episodes, and at the end not all the group is revealed. Now, because I didn't watch it back at the time, I didn't know how we're gonna do it, so watching it now I found a bit disappointing, because I get to the end after 10 episodes and I still don't know how these guys became part of the group, apart from maybe 2 of them or 3 of them. So it was like, so I watched 10 episodes and I don't even know who won. So I know now who won, but I don't know how, if it makes sense, because they don't explain. They just leave it choosing just 2 boys, and all the others are chosen for another platform. Now, this other platform, for I gathered from an article or something I read, basically they chose 2 groups, and then they decided to just make 1 group out of the 2 groups. So that's how now we have the treasure we have today. But I didn't know all of that before reading the article. I didn't watch YG Treasure Box back then, and also I gave it 3 stars because I found that the way these boys were treated by the producers and all that was really shitty. I think there was a lot of harsh comments and humiliating them for nothing, and I don't like that. I was a bit upset on how it was done, if it makes sense. And the last I watched was Island. This is again reality TV show where they were trying to put together a new group, and I watched it. I started watching when it came out and then kind of catched up at the end. And this is done by Big Hit, which is the same company that produced BTS. Now, of course, yes, I do love BTS. I went to the concert in London. Unfortunately, they were so far away that they were literally ended up like having to watch them on the screen, which I could have done from home without spending all the money. So, but the concert was really cool. And because I enjoyed them, of course, I wanted to check out, how they put together this new group. I found it a bit boring, I'll be really honest. People might hate me for this. I find it a bit boring overall as a TV show. Then, I got my personal preferences, which don't necessarily always end up being the guys that are in the group. Although most of the times are, to be fair. But in this case, I found that talent was put aside for, kind of sometimes how cute these boys might look. And now the cute concept, because probably I'm a bit older, or I don't know, just personally, I think even when I was 16 or something, I would still find it really cringy. I found it really cringy. So if I have to say that one thing that I really do not usually enjoy personally about K-pop is we got this cute style where boys and girls kind of act almost childish, and then maybe you got the same guys 1 second later touching their crushes or doing really sexy dances, and then at the end making a cute gesture, or just coming out as really cute and then going out and this concept. I just find it really cringy in general, and if you enjoy it, good for you. I just personally don't, and I think sometimes these guys, they act like children, are chosen more than someone who's more talented than them, just because that's the culture. Didn't appreciate the final choice, because I think that there are some talented people overall, to be fair. There some talented people that should have been there, and they are there, and I'm happy. So it's not like I'm bashing all the final selection. Most of that I really enjoyed, but I do not honestly understand why some people get all the votes they do. And I really don't like, for now, the name that they gave the band, so it's just 2 stars. I'm sorry, I just didn't enjoy this. Doesn't mean that I won't enjoy their music or their concepts or what they're gonna do. I'm definitely looking forward to see what they come up with. Movies, we have, first of all, Knives Out, which I found on Amazon, and it reminded me on Murder, She Wrote as a premise, and also Cluedo. I don't know how to pronounce it in English, but I put it a picture. Basically, it's the story of this huge family. They all live in this big house, really rich family, and most of them are unlikable characters. And then one night, the head of the family is found dead, and basically, because he's the head of the family, now there is the issue of who's gonna inherit the biggest chunk of the money, who's gonna inherit the company, who's gonna inherit the house, its possessions, and all of that. Basically, an investigation starts, because it sounds like something is off in the way this man died. And I don't want to say anything else. It's plainly a murder mystery, where you got a bunch of characters and they're all family members, and you have to figure out what happens. And you got Daniel Craig, I think is his name, 007, James Bond, License to Kill. He comes in and he does the role of a detective, and I think it's a really nice role. I gave it 4 stars. Truly enjoyed this. It's a movie that I may even rewatch in the future, although, because now I know what happens, I kind of, these mysteries, once you watch them, you know what's happening, so they kind of lose a bit of appeal. But it was such a funny, well done movie that I truly, honestly recommend this. Then I rewatched a old but gold. It's Blade, and this is the first one. Blade, it's really, as came out in the 90s. It's a story of this man who hunts vampires, and there is his story, and there are vampires, and it's bloody. It's definitely horror. I watched this when I was really young, and then I watched all the trilogy, I believe. So I give it 3.5 stars. It's still not my favorite. I think probably Underworld is my favorite, but it is one of the movies that started my passions for vampire and horror story on that genre, fantasy genre. So yeah, and also Snyder, I think, is like perfect in his role. They could not have chosen a better protagonist. I enjoy his character a lot. I think he's what made me love the movie so much, because the plot is okay, but it's pretty standard, but he makes the movie Blade, and he makes it famous. Then I watched, after reading the book, I'll link up here my wrap up of the book, so you can see what I think about the book itself. I watched on Netflix I'm Thinking of Ending Things, and the premise of this is that you got a couple, they are traveling at night to go meet the parents of him for the first time, and she has a lot of doubts because she's thinking of actually ending things. And the movie is pretty similar to the book for the first half, I would say, maybe just a tiny bit less. So the book was kind of hard to gather what was happening. I did make the right choice at the end, so when the end happens, I had guessed, but the movie makes it so bloody clear. Like, I don't know if I had watched the movie, I know that, you can say, well, Eva, you've already read the book, so you already knew what was happening, so you cannot judge. But I can guarantee you, because I know myself and I've watched movies like this before without you having read the books, and this movie, I didn't like it. I gave it 2.5 stars. I really enjoyed the performances, but it was nonsensical. It's one of those movies which I think they tried too hard to be something that they didn't manage to do. And although I liked the atmosphere they created, I think they made it so bloody clear what was happening that, you know, all the suspense, all the what's happening, what's the end, what's going on here, it's taken away because it's so bloody obvious. And also one thing that I didn't appreciate is the end. While in the book you've got a clear end, you know it's an open ending, but you know what happened. In the movie they make it so vague. I was like, you've been so clear about what was going on for all the movie, and you didn't need to, because that was the awesome part of the book, is being there say what's going on. It's a bit weird, but oh yeah, it's okay, but it's a bit weird, why say that? And then in the movie you didn't get that, because it's clearly that you're watching something that's unreliable. And to get to the end and then invert the trend, so the book at the end you clearly know what happens, and in the movie you don't. So it's just, what are you doing there? I really didn't like it. I found it a bit boring, to be fair. And even if you don't read many books, but still you want to get one of the most weird and creepy thrillers ever written, please read the book. It's not long at all, and it's super weird. It's super weird and well done. And just leave the movie. It's not like, oh yeah, you can watch the movie or read the books. No, because they are completely different experiences with different endings. The movie doesn't make it justice at all. I mean, just like the author played a part on how the movie was done. I was like, if I was the author and I watched this movie, I'd be super upset. So I don't know, it's just me, baby. And the last thing that I actually watched was Hotel Artemis. This takes place in a post-apocalyptic, futuristic Los Angeles, where there are a lot of riots, people are protesting against the government, and then you got Jodie Foster, who's a nurse in this hotel, which is basically secluded from the rest of the world. And in this hotel only criminals can be cured. So they have like to have a pass, like a sort of chip in their wrist, and they can access the hotel just in that way. And then at the beginning of the movie you got, you know, robbery that gets wrong. So these two guys are brought to the hotel, and then there are a bunch of characters there, and then there is the kind of criminal lord of a city coming over, and these guys are in trouble with them for a few reasons. So anyway, it's just a bit of thriller crime thrown in an apocalyptic environment. I gave this 3 stars. It was kind of fell in the middle. I think it had a lot of potentials. I really enjoyed her Jodie Foster character and Batista character. I just thought there was a lot going on that didn't make sense. I would have not put this in a post-apocalyptic world, for example. I think it just tried to mix genre that had nothing to do with each other. And overall, it kind of followed the pattern that I was expecting to, so for nothing surprising. Yeah, I followed it along, it was interesting enough. It's just a 3 stars, just kind of in the middle, to be fair. And that was it. I was slowly going down the stairs while filming, so I'm gonna let you go. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any recommendation things I should check out in fall 2020, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Ciao.